This episode of Outdoor Journal Radio is brought to you in part by the Invasive Species Centre, protecting Canada's land and water from invasive species. Freedom Cruise Canada, rent the boat, own the memories. J&B Cycle and Marine, your home for all things power sports, boats, and equipment. And Sail, the ultimate destination for your outdoor adventures. Howdy, folks. Welcome to the program. I'm Angelo Viola. He is Peter Bowman over there.
Hi.
The rest of the crew, well, they're not important. We got Boba.
Nothing.
We've got sometimes Nick. And then we have
that.
Dean over
That's
there.
a good nickname. Sometimes Nick.
Sometimes Nick.
That's a good one.
We'll change
I
it
like
over to
that.
sometimes Nick. I would like to know how many times, how many podcasts, we could probably find this out. How many podcasts did I introduce and I had to say the sometime and Nick is usually over there and no, Nick is not there. And how many?
Well, I think, but you'd be more successful in saying, and Nick stayed with us for the whole show today because I'll tell you that
it's never happened.
Is he not? Do you know?
No.
He's been on a show before, so he was here for those ones.
For the whole thing?
One time he was the guest, so I'm assuming he stuck around. Maybe not.
I don't know, man. I think, how many podcasts are we sitting to this day, Dean?
165.
What do you think?
None.
165. He's been away for all 165 of them. Yeah, you're probably.
None. He has been here for the entire start to finish.
He's a busy man, right?
Well,
he's got lots of priorities.
I realize that. And that's, sometimes you have to forego, certain issues to receive other benefits, right?
Yeah.
You have
It's
to.
a bunch of bullshit.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Exactly.
The whole Nick scene is a bunch of bullshit. That's for sure. It's kind of nice to have Grandpa as your employer too. It doesn't hurt,
Well,
probably,
it doesn't
right?
hurt. It doesn't hurt.
Yeah,
Let me tell you that right
membership
now.
has its privileges.
It
Let's
does.
be honest about it.
I agree.
I get that. Can't blame him.
Well, where was I going with this whole
Well,
thing?
you were just saying
I
hi to everybody.
had a wonderful look because what a great program we've got. And I had this whole thing all worked out, and then it went sideways and off the rails on me with this situation.
Good old sometimes Nick. He gets you every time, doesn't he?
Kathryn Maroun, that's what I had going.
Nice. Okay.
Give me a hell yeah!
She will be joining us here shortly. For those of you who don't know her, shame on you.
Well, it's been a while since she's been in the limelight, right?
She's the founder of What a Catch television production company. She is the award-winning host of What a Catch television program. A ton of other accolades could be thrown her way in the production field and the angling field. She's probably fished with some of the most recognized fly fishing gurus on the planet.
Yeah, I agree.
All over the world. Just a outdoors person extraordinary. If you watched her product, if you know what she does, she, unlike us, she fits into her environment so beautifully and seamlessly.
So what are you saying about us?
Oh, God. Have you looked at us lately?
Come on.
Come
we
on.
fit in.
Wow. All right.
Put a Fishing Canada hat on and get in a Prince Crab boat and gabber.
Yeah, exactly. She took television fishing to a whole other level for a number of years.
And she's got quite a story too with her health with Lyme disease, and they can look at that on the episode 15, way back when we had her on here.
Way before there on Outdoor Journal Radio. I broke that story. The reason that she had to stop producing the show is that she had contracted Lyme disease. Probably one of the first people that I ever knew that actually got Lyme disease.
And she got it bad too.
And she had it bad. We have some, at that time, this program was a live radio show on Sportsnet in Toronto. And I'll never forget, I think it was the second episode that we brought her on to talk to her and see how she was doing. And she broke to us what her daily routine was with this Lyme disease.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
In terms of self-medication.
Yeah.
Sticking herself with IVs.
And in bed like all day long almost,
bed all
right?
day long.
Yeah.
Oh, it was crazy. It was crazy live programming. But anyways, she has since recovered and lives in wonderful. The thing about her, too, is that she was able to convalesce in some of the most spectacular parts of the world. Bermuda is where she calls home now, but she's come to us from all kinds of exotic places. a wonderful woman and a wonderful product. And she's going to be on the program here in a couple of minutes.
Cool.
And for you
Excellent.
fly fishing nuts, there you go.
Come on now.
We get all kinds of emails saying, well,
And-
you guys don't do fly fishing.
That's right. And the last time she was talking about hookless fishing with
Hookless
us
fishing.
too.
Yeah,
so we
well,
got to ask her
that's-
about that. Oh my, is right, George.
Which I don't totally disagree with. You
Well, I
know
know-
that.
I
You know
know-
my
I know
feelings
you.
on that, right?
Absolutely.
I could not like all the time, but I could go out on outings, especially with topwater baits. I could go out on outings without hooks and enjoy my outing probably as much as with hooks. I know that's hard for you to believe.
There's a bunch of bullshit.
Well,
Thank you, Jimmy, and thank you, Dean, and thank you, everybody.
I mean it. Because for me, it's
Hey,
more about the
we've done it
experience.
before.
Yeah, we have.
We do it. We used to do it when we were pre-fishing for tournaments.
Yeah.
We'd bend the hooks of a jig in like that, and you know, we did that obviously just for our own selfish reasons, trying to catch that fish again. And then once the tournament was on, we got hooks exposed and boom, bang in the boat. But
Do you honestly,
honestly,
not
I'm going to say yes.
not somebody else, okay? Do you honestly believe that you would catch less fish, get them to the boat, and release less fish if you were barbless? Because you're going to experience that very soon. That's why I'm asking you this. Do you honestly believe?
Yeah, I believe
And
I
what
would
is
catch
that
less
percentage?
I would catch less fish, I'm sure of it, but I
What
couldn't give
is
you a
that percentage in
Not
your
as high
opinion?
as you'd think.
No.
But you're definitely going to lose some fish because of it.
See,
That's-
I think in some cases that you would catch more fish barbless.
Okie dokie then. And that's for what reason? How would you?
Two reasons. Number one, because you're cognizant of the fact that you're now fishing barbless, and therefore you're going to be even more ultra focused. And number two, I do believe that in some cases, getting a hook to penetrate into a real bony part of a fish's mouth
Yeah.
is much easier without a barb than it is with a barb.
That could be, absolutely. If you can get through that bone, then absolutely.
So two reasons why I think your game is going to be upped significantly going barbless.
I think you'd have a tough one having a smallmouth bass, a 4-pound smallmouth, trying to fight him any differently than you do now, because he's going to be jumping all over the place anyways, you know what I mean? So the odds are good that a smallmouth will get off. You know, are better.
Not good. They're not good. I think it's
they're
the
better.
same. I think you're gonna. I think you would have lost that fish anyways, unless you're acting like a total gagoon and you know. If you're doing your, and that's why I say you would be ultra focused because you're aware that you're barbless. That you'll do an even better job.
Well,
of fighting.
see,
that
the
fish. That's
thing
my
is,
opinion.
The
but-
thing is, I fight the majority of my fish the same. I want them in the boat. Like I do fight them very seriously. It's all about technique.
You're like
and-
a
and
dog
like-
with a stick, eh? It
I
doesn't
think-
matter.
well, no, I said dog with a duck. You know what I mean?
No,
Not
not
a
all
stick.
ducks. Not all dogs like ducks, but they all
No,
like
but
sticks.
I'm that dog with that duck. I'm a duck dog. All
You're
the
a
other
duck
dogs just scratch their nuts and they do whatever they want all the time. I want to go out duck hunting and get that duck back to Buddy. You know what I mean? So I'm a duck dog. I'm a Nova Scotia duck toller. That's the dog that I am.
Well, then you're
actually.
a duck dog
I'm a duck dog.
when it comes to
Duck, knock, duck,
fishing.
knock. Say that 5 times. Duck, knock, duck, knock.
It was
Anyway.
interesting to see.
Exactly.
Be
Thank
interesting
you,
to see what
Mr. Costanza.
Catherine is doing nowadays with her fishing, because she was pretty conflicted at the time. If I
Yes,
remember
she
correctly.
was.
So.
From a girl that has been setting the hook her whole life to this, so that's cool.
But being
Good for her.
into that form of fishing, though, she's always been a little bit off from our standpoint. For her, it certainly the visuals I have of her fishing, it's more about the presentation.
Of course.
Always been more about the
Fly
presentation.
fishing. You'll even look at any of the fly fishing videos out there right now. For the most part, they do a whole lot of the art of the angling, right? More than us, I'd say. So
We're not artful, are we?
no.
What the
we're
hell are we?
We're the fart of fishing.
What are we?
Thank you, Dean.
We're fart? Is that what you
Well,
said?
no, it's art compared to art. We're probably fart. We're flatulence. We are the stink of it all.
Well, yeah, maybe. I don't know.
That's okay.
Sometimes
I like being
I
stinky.
feel. Sometimes
Stinky
I feel like we're impotent. But
Pete. You're potent, all right.
By the way, you might have noticed this lovely ensemble that I have on today.
Wow, look at you doubled up.
A bit of a layered
You
look
doubled up on her.
You know, I got the
Nice.
Fishing Canada
What's in your pocket
t-shirt.
there? The heck's that?
Wow.
Hey, what are you hiding in there?
Papers.
Oh,
paper.
okay.
Well, I put it there
Paperwork.
so to accentuate
Oh, I know what it is.
the
I didn't know
pockets.
it was. Yes.
Accentuate the
Yes,
pockets,
you,
right?
you need to.
See, I have
You need to
pockets,
flatulate
right?
the pockets.
But,
yes.
but you know, the lovely layering effect with the Fishing Canada garb.
Looking good.
All available at fishingcanada.com, the store. You can go to store.fishingcanada.
I don't know if you can do with that, but you might want to go to shop.fishingcanada.
Come on.
I don't
now.
even know why. Have you? I told you to get rid of that.
You is talking to the wrong dude. Okay.
Well, what
our
is it?
guy,
Okay, all right,
Our guy,
let's-
Nick.
All right.
He's our guy that does that
Nick
stuff.
takes a lot of heat here, no doubt about it. But now just amongst us, girl, what exactly do you do?
I try to do as little as
You
possible.
don't want to fish without hooks. We already established
Well,
that.
I think
Okay.
that's a given.
Okay.
You might
we
as well
already
fire my
established
ass for sure on that
Well,
one.
we're going to find out soon.
Okay.
You don't want to. What else do you? No, let's go with what you do.
Doo-doo. He said doo-doo.
You do a lot of doo-doos. You definitely do a
He
lot.
said doo-doo. Doo-doo.
Where were we? This is getting nonsense. Here.
Get out of
We
hand.
got Catherine
We got
Maroun waiting to
well,
come
that'll
on.
be
and
the
we're-
serious part. Okay, let's get
Oh.
all this shenanigans out, and
All
then
right.
when Catherine comes on, we'll be our calm and calm demeanor and the whole 9 yards and elegant selves that we can be.
How
Sometimes.
can we even have her on this show? I'm just thinking about this now. You know, like a pair of
We've been
knuckle
talking-
dragon.
I've been talking
Neanderthals.
farts and dog shit and everything.
Exactly, and you're going to have the lovely Kathryn Maroun on this show.
I think Catherine would appreciate our humor. And the way in the back when she's watching, saying, "Oh, those guys are funny and silly."
I
It's
don't
fun.
know. I don't know. Sometimes I'm embarrassed about you. You know, but anyways,
Hey.
that's a whole other story.
I have embarrassed myself once. I really felt embarrassed at one time.
How many times has your wife had to sneak in, like lean into you, saying, "Would you stop that?"
I don't think ever, honestly. No. She's more redneck than me.
Sorry, Lisa.
I love you, honey.
Okay, we're done with that. I
Yeah.
think we can
That's it.
change that. So get that the
That's
hell
it.
out of there.
That's it.
Listener feedback, Mr. Bowman.
Todd Kohut via YouTube.
Kohut.
Kohut. K-O-H-U-T.
Yeah.
Via YouTube.
So now, does this mean he qualifies for something because he's via YouTube? How does,
No.
No,
This is
Dean,
the
is
listener
this-
feedback. This is not the
Listener
question.
feedback.
Oh,
Feedback.
All right, all right. Carry on.
The fan feedback. Gentlemen and Pete.
Well, hey, that's
There you go.
in keeping with what
He's
we're
perfect.
talking about.
He's clairvoyant here. I love the shows and the content, and I'm not being critical at all. But I don't remember the last time you did a saltwater episode. Let's diversify the content a bit. I recently moved from Ontario to Vancouver Island, so maybe I'm being selfish here. Imagine getting a few ling cod on camera. I hear that. It's fun to catch, and it doesn't require much special gear.
That's
Maybe
obvious.
even drop a few crab prawn traps too. Who knows? Maybe you can get an orca or three on camera.
There you go.
The Southern Gulf Islands are very accessible and incredibly picturesque. Thank you for still being the best fishing show ever.
Come on now.
Even with all those faults, he still likes us.
Look at those three handsome bastards.
Yeah, and the fish, the guys aren't bad either.
Not bad.
The fish aren't bad either.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I'll tell you what. If
That's
we're,
a hell of a cod.
That's like the biggest cod I think I've ever seen.
Ever.
Ever.
And he had his popettes on. What were those called?
Propettes.
Propettes. There you go.
Propettes. Yes, sailor shoes. We got a couple of butts there.
Nope.
Nice
Yeah.
ones. Good eating right there. Uh-huh.
So to answer him, we have not been on the coast of BC for a long time,
I know
but we have been in BC quite a bit.
I know for sure that he could have released his. I doubt very much we released ours. Rope with,
Was it the rope to
rope
give
and
away?
the gaff hook.
The gaff, definitely. But the rope, I think, does it.
Anyway,
I
sorry.
remember that. That was fun.
They're good. It was delicious too.
They
I'll
call
guarantee you.
those chicken halibut.
Yep.
Right? They're
Yeah,
small.
the little ones.
And they're shallow. These are the shallow fish. Those are only in 350 feet of water.
Yeah, you don't want to get out in 500. That kills you.
This was inland
Yeah,
shore fishing.
top water.
Top water for them. No, so we have not been to the coast, I'm going to say, probably 30 years.
Oh, come on, really?
Well, think about it. I'm talking the coast,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
BC. We've done a lot of work in BC.
No, I'm trying to, yeah.
The last time we were on the coast, coast.
You know what? I think Reno and I were at Langara during 9/11. I remember it because we had to stay there.
No, that's right. You were. Now I remember that too.
So was that our last trip? Oh my God.
That's the last time that we shot on the coast, West Coast.
Wow.
So how many years is that? Dean, you got the calculator going, buddy?
You were there on 9/11?
That's correct.
Yeah. So you're 24 years ago.
I said almost 30. Well, I was pretty close. I should get something for that, shouldn't I?
You should.
Yeah, you can get this.
Give me a hell yeah.
There you
Thank
go.
you.
Dean's
By the
very
way,
generous today.
Did I understand? Like, I don't know whether this to be
boy,
true.
look out, Dean. Put your guard up. Get the shield going.
Did I hear that you now have a whole assortment of other buttons
I do.
to push? Do you want to share
wanna
some
go
with
through
your fellow students here?
Sure. I've got Macho Man.
Yeah, I know I'm living in a nightmare.
I've got just a normal applause. I have Owen Wilson. I have Mike Tyson.
Spinal.
What?
I like that.
And I have this.
Whoa!
Okay, there you go.
Have you got
What
that
did-
one
What
approved?
did Tyson say?
I actually looked into it. There's no laws. As long as you don't use it in the same context as which it was said, you're fine.
Wow, Joe would let you get away with that.
Apparently, I can cut it if we hear back, but yeah.
So you're not 100%, but I'd love Holy Mackinac.
Oh, that's the classic Canadian right there.
I love
What
it.
did Tyson say in that one? What was he saying?
Spinal.
Spinal.
Did you ever see the one he lost a fight and then the interviewer asked him what happened and he says, "I broke my back." And he says, "What do you mean? Spinal."
He was the best. Remember the time he said he hit the guy right in the equilibrium or something? Give him a shot to the equilibrium.
Yeah.
Mike was the best.
Is the best.
Is
He's
the
still
best.
the best.
Yeah, he is.
I
I have
loved
to
him on
agree.
his last
Oh
appearance.
my God, he's a weed smoking freak now, eh?
Is he?
Oh my God, you should see him on these YouTube
How old
shows.
is he?
Oh, he's got to be
60s, high
like
60s.
our age, between you and I. Somewhere, I'd say, in that area.
Huh.
Anyway,
Wow. Yeah, I don't know where we were, but let's get back to where we are. Where we are.
and that was
So the
saltwater.
West saltwater. It's been 20 some odd years on the far left coast, but on the right coast,
we were close there. That one
Bay
striper
of
shoot
Fundy.
there.
Bay of Fundy.
Bay of
That's,
Fundy.
that's
last year, yeah.
right there, and we've done it for the last 5-6 years. We've been fishing
right.
it. And then prior to that, we did tuna. We did
Tuna.
So we've
Todd
done,
just wants us to go west instead of east.
Okay, so he's absolutely right. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, the process is already in place.
We're working on it.
For our 40th season coming up, I believe we may be on the left coast.
We're going to try. Depends on tourism helping us out too. You know what I mean? All this stuff has to come together. It's a big deal. It's a big deal now. So
you can't, so you're dependent on somebody else to get you there? Is that?
we're not going to depend on the Fishing Canada paychecks. You're not going to pay for all our wages plus the flights, plus everything. So we need some assistance on this, right?
Like a
It's
sugar
gonna be
daddy.
us. Well, a partner.
A partner. Well, then let's, you know what? Who is this?
Todd Kohut.
Todd Kohut. Apparently, our people are working on it, but they need some assistance to make it happen. So,
If you know anybody in tourism, Todd?
if you know anybody that knows somebody who knows somebody,
Tell them you need
reach
us out there. You need us out there badly. It's been 20-something years.
Reach out.
2-4 years.
I wonder how many people now are thinking that we're joking, or maybe the ones that don't think we're joking are appalled by the sound of that.
Well, I think if they, we could give them an approximate cost. What would it cost us? You would know what would it cost us to shoot a show
an episode
out in BC.
of
Let's say a 4-man crew went out there.
It's okay, but it's not just the shoot.
No, but I'm saying
Right?
everything
But I'm saying
from start to finish.
if somebody was to commission a producer to produce what we produce and then air what we distribute, broadcast, air, what we do, you couldn't buy it
Be prepared,
for
folks.
$60,000 to $100,000. You couldn't buy it.
Oh my.
You could not buy it.
How's that sound?
Now, and I'm talking just the core costs, right? Now, if you add to that we bring 40 years of brand recognition to the project, I don't think there is a price, to be honest with you. Like, there's not a book that we can go through and say, oh, based on that, that's what it's worth.
That would have been a good gym condo right there, Dean. But
It's a bunch of bullshit.
40 years of bullshit. Anyways, he's not bullshitting. It's a very expensive endeavor to get.
Yeah, and people don't realize that.
Just a trip in Ontario, right where we're living here. Just a trip in Ontario. We take the full crew, 2 vehicles, a lot of times 2 boats, a lot of times. Oh my God, you have no idea what the cost. Well, you know now what the cost of living, just the price of gas and all that stuff. If we're paying for our motel rooms halfway up or something like that, it's an expense. All the meals, she's not cheap. That's for sure.
And we have to. Some of the crew members not. They have some habits that you have to kind of feed as well.
What is that? What are you thinking? What are you saying there?
You
got a little something. Wow. There?
No, I'm kidding.
He is joking on that one, folks. We're good boys.
We're probably the most squeaky clean television crew.
Yeah, we like our beers. We like our whiskey.
And not much of it.
At night, no, not there's no time for it.
Exactly.
And little red wine to supper, and you're snoring.
You're dragging your sorry ass to bed so you could get up 4 hours later and do it all over again.
Yeah. I hope we answered Todd's.
Did we? Did we? So thanks for
we did,
the South Coast are very accessible. So this was definitely not a question. Does not qualify for anything.
And we agree.
Right?
Like the lingcod. Somebody said lingcod or
said cod.
Yeah, lingcod.
There's also one before.
They're awesome. They're like they'd be a great fish to go back and anybody.
Now is that that's a West Coast cod, right?
That's a cod, right. Atlantic cod. That's
Atlantic.
Atlantic.
That's the Atlantic. Because there is a cod out west.
Yeah, I don't know. As compared to the lingcod, I don't know.
It's not a lingcod.
Yeah, I don't know.
We've caught them.
I know that lingcod's a nasty beast.
The wolffish.
Wolffish.
It's called wolffish as well with that head.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is
insane.
Scary fish.
Insane. You see a wolffish on a he wouldn't crush that. You ever see him with a pop can? You ever see that wolf? They cut the heads off and I think it's a wolffish, and they put the pop can on his mouth when it's headless, and it crushes it, opens it right up. That's a badass fish right there.
All right. Hopefully we've answered that question. We beat it to death, as they say.
We did, for sure.
Conservation Corner brought to you by Invasive Species Centre. Let me scratch this up there.
Nope.
Apparently,
you're scratching out some stuff. Eh?
Well, okay. I just wanted to say, Conservation Corner brought to you by the Invasive Species Centre. They are in the know. What?
Center.
I
like that.
It is.
Centra.
He did change. I was wondering if he was going to have that
you
change.
We had to give him shit, were you?
I wasn't going to give him hell.
You were sitting like a hunter over decoys right there.
I wanted to see if he was paying attention at all.
Always.
Hey, did you know that your favorite species of sportfish could be at risk, could be in peril?
Largemouth, smallmouth, muskies, pikes, perches.
Keep going, buddy. Keep going.
Rainbow, brown, bull.
Everything. And the reason being the creature that's putting all this at risk is the grass carp, one of 4 species of Asian carp, with the potential to outcompete our native species for resources and have negative effects on species that Peter just mentioned. And more, by the way, because there's coarse fish that it have an impact on as well that we're not even putting on this list, which you're also...
they're not a sport fish, but carp would be in danger as well, right?
Of course.
The common carp and the mirror carp would be in danger as well from the racing carp.
Wonderful creatures.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's, the common denominator, we've been talking the tench now lately too, going back to the grass carp and that. Every one of them puts our sport fish at risk.
Anytime you introduce something new, and and to me, an invasive species is one that wasn't there yesterday.
Yep.
Not 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, because by now that is no longer an invasive species.
Well, the common carp.
Exactly.
It's now an adapted species or whatever you call it.
Exactly.
Naturalized.
Naturalized. Thank you, Dean. sometimes we struggle for words, and we need help from somebody that is so obviously better educated than we are.
You should have put through that Mike Tyson in there right there instead of that. That would have sounded better for me.
Spinal.
That's the word I'm looking for, Mikey. Thank you.
So, but something that's invasive to me is it's not here now, or it's here in very low numbers. That's the one we got to be careful with, right? And today we're talking about one that fits that category, and that's the grass carp. They can consume up to 40% of their body weight every single day. That's the fear. Not because they'll eat other fish, but they will outcompete other fish in whatever environment they happen to get into by consuming the vital nutrition that all game fish, regardless of whether they're plant eaters or meat eaters, they all rely on vegetation. And eating 40% of your weight every day in aquatic vegetation, you can do the math. It wouldn't take long to decimate.
Look at it like a person, like a 200-pound man. If he ate 40% of his body weight every day, that's a dent on whatever he's eating. You know what I mean? They can weigh up to 80 pounds apparently. So you're talking about a big fish here. You know what I mean? And let's say the average is 20 or 30 pounds. They're still eating a lot
5-6
of vegetation
pounds a day. Multiply
fish.
that by God knows how many thousands could get into a waterway.
Yeah, when you look at down in the U.S. and you see some of those rivers with all the different carps they have, that's a lot of consumption going on.
Now, fortunately for us, although there is DNA evidence and actual evidence of some of these fish in our waterways, very, very low numbers, they have not established they haven't got a grasp on our waterways as of yet. And that's why it's important to keep yourself informed, and why it's important for the Invasive Species Centre to continually delivering this message out to all of us that spend time on the water. As anglers, it's the one thing that we can do, and that is be vigilant. We need to be totally informed on what this creature looks like, where it comes from, how we have to deal with it if and when, which will happen, encounter one in the field. And it's vital if we want to keep this thing out of our
Head to asiancarp.ca to learn how to identify grass carp, compare it with common lookalikes, and download the reporting guide.
Right there. That or it. All right, in the news, brought to you by J&B Cycle and Marine. J&B Cycle and Marine. In the news, tournament-wide skunking in Elliott Lake Fishing Derby.
This is the first time I ever heard of this one, for sure. Apparently up in Elliott Lake, they have an annual fishing derby. It's a fundraiser, which is a great thing, you know what I mean? But they had, it was March 15th of 25, just passed. They had 183 registered anglers.
Wow.
And not one person, it was a 3-hour event only.
Oh, okay.
But not one person caught a fish.
Oh, my.
What were they targeting?
I would
I think
assume
it's a perch tournament.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
A perch tournament and
I'm
not
pretty sure
one
it's perch.
caught.
Yeah.
Wow.
Holy
So
smoke.
obviously they were paying $113 each. And since there was no prize winner, what they actually did was they award the big prize via a draw, which is fair.
I
You know
think
what I mean?
a lot of them are going to that.
Yeah,
that
they're
setup,
doing that
right?
on. We've been
How do you
forced
feel
to
about that?
I don't mind that. This is great. I think the $9,100 to anybody now. Anybody's got a chance. Everybody in the that's paid their $113 has a chance for $9,100, and I don't find that to be a bad thing at all. Even like the St. Lawrence tournament where they have that draw for the boat. The big prize is that draw for a boat. You know what I mean? So I don't mind that.
Which is the big prize.
That I think is the big prize. It has to be.
Which to me, I don't want to get off topic here, but to me, that kind of
Defeats
is
the tournament.
Everybody wins. We have no losers. Peace, love, and all that stuff.
Yeah, but you can choose to fish or not fish that event, right? Or those events. So you just say, no, I don't want that. I want to
Cup
win.
does it pretty well, where like you can still win something, but everyone gets their name in the hat.
See,
kinda.
to me, the big prize, both in terms of value and perception, needs to go to the person or team who figured it out, who worked hard pre-fishing, who
Yep.
endured all of
I
the
agree.
conditions, the
I
weather,
agree.
the competition, the fish, the boat, the tech. They figured it out. That's who wins the tournament,
Yep.
right? And they deserve to win the tournament.
It's like
And
any
therefore they
sporting
should-
tournament. You don't draw the prize for the. But I think this being a fundraiser is
This
different.
is
It's a 3-hour
different. Yeah,
event,
yeah. I'm
et
sorry.
cetera, like that.
I got off topic. Carry on.
No,
Sorry.
I agree with you 100%. Because the Bassmaster Classic, you don't want the guy that.
Think about that.
Yeah, I mean, he's the guy. Oh, you did great there, but let's throw out of a hat to see
And
who
the
really
winner
wins the big money.
is Bubba Smith from Arkansas. Meanwhile, Bubba weighed in 3 fish and weighed 11 pounds.
Exactly. It's
I
not right.
don't think that's right.
No, it's not right in that sense. So, but anyways, yeah. So I think what they're doing. I think most people. They say most people were happy with it. They didn't. They wanted to catch fish, but they're happy with the outcome because they didn't get a fundraiser, et cetera. Et
Did
cetera,
anybody look into this? Dean, is there any more information on this? Because there's something wrong here. If you have 183 boats.
Well, not boats, but ice fishing.
Oh, ice fishing. Sorry,
anglers.
but still, it's the equivalent of a flotilla of
Yeah,
boats
yeah.
in a bay or wherever this took place, and not one fish is caught in 3 hours. There's something.
Yeah, they're abandoning this lake for next year's event for sure.
Oh, you think? But is this something worthy of M&R, for example, looking into it? Because this is a great sample size. It's only one event, but you've got a lot of people involved, and I'm sure it was all live bait. I'm sure they're
Yeah, I'm
dropping
sure, yeah.
minnows
Oh,
down.
for perch, for sure.
How
I
in
think.
the hell do you not get one fish?
One perchy.
Holy smokes! This is a M&R thing. For
Yeah,
sure.
I
That
agree.
they got to look into.
Maybe they had a
this,
size limit. Maybe there's a 12-inch size limit. Nobody came above that. Nobody that was said about that. So maybe, I don't know.
All right.
It is. Yeah, you're interesting. But it's the Elliott Lake Ice Fishing Derby. It was an RTR, Right Track Racing, was the fundraiser for. So
I'd be concerned if I'm the people in charge of tourism for Elliott Lake. I'll
Lake
tell you that
tourism
right
people
now.
right now.
Because it's not just about the perch fishing, but if this represents the condition of the perch fishery, I'm also concerned about the regular sport fish who predate on perch. How are they going to do this coming year, right? So a lot of lights just went on with this. A lot of lights.
right on.
Anyway, that's all available. The whole story, we butchered it up pretty good for you. Dean, you've got this story sitting on fishingcanada.com.
Yep, it'll be there.
Is it better than
Hours
what
then.
we just made it out
Much
to be?
better, much better.
And did you write this story? Dean?
Yes, I did.
And I'm sure it's wonderful. I'm sure
You
it's
watch.
so
So you know what he's going to
eloquently
do? He's
written.
probably writes it all perfect in the website so that we do look like a pair of idiots. And was a perch? I think, yeah, maybe. Bring me out. Got it all written out perfect. And Pete and Angela.
All we have to do is read
bumbling
this shit.
fools.
That's the like that. See, and then that's what bothers me sometimes because we have all the tools in place. It's not like we go out without tools. We have tools every time we do something. We have our toolbox is full. And what do? We carry it onto the job site, put her down on the job site, and then you and I, like a couple of buffoons, we just start using our hands on it.
Take a stick and
just use
start
a hammer
hammering with a
with a
stick.
Well, Does that make any sense at all?
Sure.
Like any of this make any sense to you?
Not really, but I don't know where you're going with this. But that's
No,
okay.
I'm just saying.
okay.
He writes this stuff. All we have to do is read it. We don't even do a good job of that.
Let's do that exact verbatim on the fan question. How's that?
All right, fan
And-
question of the week brought to you by
And we're gonna let Dean answer
Fishfinder Mounts.
it. We're gonna let Dean answer it.
Yeah. Fishfindermounts.com. Brought to you by fishfindermounts.com. If you don't know what fishfindermounts.com does, you ain't been listening to us. Trust me. You need to go check them out right now. If you own a boat, I guess you can't do it if you don't own a boat. You have to own a boat, right? Of any kind, any description. Could be...
No, you could have a portable kit.
Oh,
and then
the ice
bring
kit.
The ice kit.
Those ice fishermen that didn't get any fish, I'll bet you they didn't have fishfindermounts.com paraphernalia hanging down those holes. I'll guarantee you that.
And then the guys that maybe rent boats, they have the magnetic mounts that they can put on the back of a little 14-footer and every time,
You're
or
right.
on a canoe.
So it doesn't matter. What you're saying
No.
is it doesn't matter whether you own a boat, you don't own a boat. You needs to get to
Just check it out.
fishfindermounts.com. Just check them out.
Just check it out. That's all
There's
we
no charge
ask.
for that. Just check them out.
Yeah.
All right. Carry on.
Yeah. Fan question, brah, is submitted by James Moreland 3899 via YouTube, and this is a question, Angelo. So if you Dean
YouTube. So this is
if he's subscribed, which Dean, I'm assuming he's going to be.
he is. He's
Okay,
a subscriber.
okay. So this guy is.
Did you have a drum roll in there somewhere?
No, I'll add that next time.
Yeah, add that in, just like because it really adds to the suspense.
Yeah.
You know, something like this. This guy could be winning 100 buckaroos. I would play the drum roll through the whole reading of the question if it was me producing the show.
You're right. I'll add it.
I'm just saying.
Are you done
now
yet?
that you've got that new
You done yet?
box?
New box.
It's blank. So
Congratulations!
He says, "Boss, can I get a new
on
box?" And I said, "Well, how
40
much is that box going to
years.
cost?" And I had
much
two
was
guys,
that?
three guys research, and they tell me, I said, "Oh, okay. Do you think we need it?" Yep. I buy it, and now the box is sitting half empty.
Yeah, I know I'm living in a nightmare.
That's my problem.
Oh yeah.
Here we are.
Macho
Sorry.
Man. Elizabeth.
I'll contain myself.
Congratulations. Okay, I'll go back to
Yes.
James Moreland 3899 via YouTube. Congratulations on 40 years. After being on various fly and fishing trips with friends and family, I've noticed that something magical about a fishing trip brings out the practical joker in all of us. My question for the crew is, what are the best pranks or practical jokes you can remember from a Fishing Canada fishing trip? Also, as a former Ontarian and now proud Maritimer, I appreciate all the East Coast content. Keep it up, and thanks for the laughs. East Coaster now from Ontario, moved out there. Wasn't Turner, was it?
The one that comes to mind to me, and I've told this story on this show before, but it wasn't during production of a Fishing Canada episode. It was during production of Outdoor Journal television back in the good old days.
Good old ODJ.
Old DJ. We used to do a lot of pranking on that one. I don't know why. It was just different crews and different environments, I guess. But the one that comes to mind is the one that I've told you here before. This guy has no there's no blood in his veins. It's all ice, right? Because nothing phases him. Doesn't matter. You could be yelling, "Peter, I'm dying, hurry up!" And he would walk out of the boat and just drag his feet the same way he would if you didn't say that.
I'd
right?
collect the rope, rations, and
the hog,
I'd do
you make
everything.
sure
like
that
that,
everything okay,
and then I'd
like,
ultimately save you.
Yeah.
I would save you.
Like nothing phases him. So one time we're on a shoot. I don't know where we were, but the rest of the crew and I, we decided we're going to pull something off. We were staying in a dungy, dreary, scary, spooky environment. It was a third
Including
world,
the people around
third
us.
world country somewhere. Let's put it this way: none of us slept in the beds that night. We slept standing up in the corner. That's how bad this place was. But in the bathroom, there was very poor lighting. In fact, if I remember correctly, the light was sort of in the hallway, just adjacent, lighting the bathroom a little bit. The very low lighting, and the curtain rod was sort of, in the stand-up shower next to the toilet. The toilet and the shower were kind of one unit. It was weird. But anyways, so we decided that we were going to try and see if we could get his blood rate or his heart rate up a little bit that night. We may have had a couple of drinks. I'm not sure.
Maybe.
But the deal was he and Pete and I were staying in that room. And so the deal was that the crew was going to entertain him for an extra 20 minutes that night. And I was going to go up to bed, because one thing that he does after 40 years of traveling on the road, I can tell you that he is like a book. I know every move he's going to make. And one of the moves that is his trademark, at the end of the night, he will come into his room or wherever he is, and he's going to go have a piss.
Of course.
Immediately. Whether he needs to or not. It's just standard equipment, and then he goes to bed.
You got to pee before bed, because you don't want to hold that sucker all night, right?
Exactly. So anyway, we knew that. So I said, okay, here's what we're going to do. You guys detain him for a bit. I'm going to go up ahead, and I'm going to go hide in that behind the curtain in that shower stall that's dreary and spider webs and everything all over. And then when he pulls the gun out and he's starting to unload, I'm going to jump out of that thing and I'm going to scare the hell out of him.
Little tiny,
that'll be great. And we'll come up behind him and we'll see if we can capture it, and it'll be great. So anyway, so that's what we did. So I went up there and I got, just getting in behind, this was such a spooky place, just getting in that shower stall
was,
and
it
hiding
was
behind
ugly.
the curtain scared the hell out of me just being there. But anyway, so I get in there and cheers. All 15 minutes later, he comes up. I hear him plodding into the room, dragging his feet like he always does. And he comes in and he, unzips and I waited. Like my heart rate, you could imagine how excited I was, right? Like I couldn't even see anymore. My blood pressure was jumping through the roof. But I wanted to wait. I gave him time. I wanted to catch him midstream, right? I wanted this to be the big show. So I waited, and then I just let it all howl. I just pulled back the curtain and go, "Rawr!" He's holding on. He's looking up at me. Oh, hey, buddy, what are you doing in there? God's honest truth. This is a true story.
It is a true story.
So it pranked on me because I think I pissed myself during that experience.
Maybe I turned a pissed on you. Maybe. Oh God.
And he didn't miss a stroke. He finished urinating, and that was it.
Well, you got to finish her up, right? Shake her off a little bit.
So that's the one that comes to mind. There's been so many, but that one.
I remember, and you can help me on this one.
Yeah.
I was the perpetrator here. So Reno, it was on Pilot Lake. I remember it was at Pilot Lake. And Reno has always been afraid of mice. One of his biggest fears was mice. And I found a dead mouse somewhere in that camp. And I said to Ange, Reno hates mice or something like that. And he goes, oh yeah, he does. I says, we got to get him. And did I not put it in a sandwich or something like that? Or did we not put it between two pieces of bread?
I believe you put it in.
Supposed to be for our lunch. And I had it sort of set aside. And when we opened up lunch or whatever, I says, Reno, what kind of sandwich did you get? And he opened those two pieces of bread and he shit his pants. He screamed and threw that mouse about 100 miles. So I remember that one. That's one of the ones I do. I don't remember very many of them.
How some guys, I mean, I can understand girls, maybe, but guys, some big burly, like scruffy
Reno,
knuckle guy, they're afraid of mice, like to the point where he screams like a little girl.
He went nuts, and he wanted to kill me. It was all worth it, but he wanted to kill me. So we don't prank each other a lot, though. I will say in the field, we don't prank a bunch, and we don't shoot a lot of outtakes, and we don't do all that stuff. We could. But we just don't. I don't know why you think we would more, knowing our personalities. You'd say, "Oh my God, these guys must be nuts on the road," but we don't really do it. Eh?
It's a shame.
It is. We've missed some good opportunities for sure.
All righty, the main segment. The reason we're here today. How exciting is this?
You're not here for me?
No.
Us?
Yeah. Maybe us, but you.
Not me. Dean? Come on, Vova, come on. Include the group along with our great guest.
Segment brought to you by Sail, the outdoor store. Sail is your home for all things fishing, hunting, camping, and so much more.
I just went in the other day. Yep. I've been out away from. I'm staying away because of my visa numbers aren't too good right now. So
they're not aligning.
They're not aligning. So I'm staying up, and then I snuck away from my lovely wife and said, "I'm going into Sail." And I went in there, and it was looking good. All the spring stuff is in there already. The clothing and all that stuff.
I've told folks this a million times. But it's worth saying again. A trip into Sail, even if you're not in the market for buying. In fact, some of my most memorable times at Sail is when I wasn't buying anything, and I ended up buying anything anyways. But but just walking in there and immersing yourself in all that beautiful outdoor stuff.
Yeah.
Oh my
Especially guys like us that walk upstairs into the hunting and fishing department. Hello. Look out.
But unfortunately, not everybody has a Sail store in their neighborhood like we do. We literally have one just down the street. So we're blessed. But if you don't have one in your area, your community, wherever you happen to be, fear not. Go to sail.ca. That's SAIL.ca. And you too can immerse yourself in this wonderful outdoor experience. They have pretty much everything that you could ever imagine that is required if you're going to be, trekking in the outdoors, fishing, camping, hunting, just spending some time breathing in that beautiful air. It's all happening at Sail, the outdoor store.
Yeah, baby.
Now, speaking about a breath of fresh air, I just found out before we went live with this piece that it's been 2 years. Catherine, shame on you. Catherine Maroun on the show now.
Shame on her.
Shame on you.
Come on.
Where have you been?
Give her a break.
Come on now.
Welcome to the show. Way too long.
Welcome back to the show. Yes.
Way too long. Way
Thank you, guys. It's great to be able to catch up with you. I've been following along, and even though we haven't been speaking because obviously you've been busy. Look at this fabulous podcast that you have built for all of us. I was up all night.
No, you were not.
I was because I just traveled back from California, so I was up all night watching your different podcasts. I am a subscriber.
Yay!
Nice.
Yes.
Can we give Catherine a prize, guys? Maybe.
I have to ask a question to get a prize.
Oh, true.
That's right.
She is watching.
Yes,
Good for her.
I do. I love your podcast, and I also love everything that you guys do for conservation and for fishing and for passing along the torch to young anglers to give them the spark, the little nibble that to set the hook so that they're into caring about all things fishy. Nice. So I know with the bass fishing tournaments, you guys care about making sure that these young people are getting on the boats, that they have access to a boat, and that they understand what's happening with the zebra mussels and the different issues we have environmentally. I love that on your podcast, you're sharing with people not just how to catch a fish, but what's happening in their neck of the woods. And you also allow different points of view, which is one of the reasons you've invited me here today, because I might be a little bit to one end of the spectrum when it comes to fishing. Mm-hmm. And I appreciate you guys always honestly listening and giving me a chance to explain why I do things the way I do and why I feel the way I do about things.
Yeah.
So I think what Catherine is alluding to, last time you were on this program, you kind of broke a big one on us.
Yeah.
And that was that you started looking into this new form of fishing.
This is a shocker.
Which by the way, and he'll verify this. Afterwards, I was intrigued to the point where I said to the guys, why not? And that is that you went to a total hookless concept of fishing, which probably needs a new name because it's probably not called fishing anymore. But
yeah,
it was intriguing.
Why don't we call it, today we'll brand it on your show, we'll call it Kissing a Fish instead of Catching a Fish.
There you go.
Wow.
Kissing a Fish.
Jimmy Houston will be right in there reading with her. Perfect. Wow.
Are you still pursuing that?
Oh, gosh, that's such a big question.
I know. There's a million questions, by the way. It's just one.
Yeah. Well, I think, long pause for drama there.
Yes.
There is drama. It's so complicated, and I've been trying to find my way.
Okay.
And where I've ended up, one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you guys today is because I need your help to find a way forward. Okay. It used to be that the most exciting part of fishing for me was to be able to be close to the fish because I love the fish. Some women love a Louis Vuitton or, whatever it is. I love fish. I'm intrigued by fish, the lives of fish, the people who fish, the places where fish are. And so when I used to go fishing, I would catch the fish. I wanted to hold it. I wanted to be in its world, right? And I was told at that time that fish didn't feel pain, so all of it was okay with me. And then science caught up and said, this isn't really a good time for the fish. And they do feel pain in a different way than we feel pain. They see really well, they hear, they learn, they have organized families. And I thought, well, gosh, I don't think I can do this now because I'm a soft-hearted person and I want other people to fish and learn how to fish. But for me, I'm on a journey right now to try to find out what my relationship is with fish. Can I still call myself an angler if I'm not catching a fish? And this is the question. However, the revelation.
Here we go.
Is,
Here we go. I've got to adjust the glasses here.
Silence again.
I can still be of use and contribute in a positive way. So say, for example, invasive species I can go into an area and help when they're trying to catch an invasive species in an area. And I can dispatch the fish quickly and humanely as my contribution. And maybe when I'm doing that, that is a positive thing for that area. But the other thing I'm doing is I am trying to figure out, I'm hungry, okay? What am I going to eat? And that's why a lot of us fish.
Right.
We fish. We all love to eat fish. Well, most of us do.
Yep.
And we want, because they get rigor mortis so quickly and the meat can go badly so quickly, we like to catch a fish, know how it was handled, dispatch it quickly, bleed it, get it into a cooler to keep the temperature down, and know how long when it was caught, where it was caught, the quality of the water, all of those complicated things. Can that body of water sustain a harvest? And then we eat this fish. So I was fishing in California in the Bay By for sustenance. However, because I know fish feel and all of these things that we just talked about, or that I just yabbered on about, I need your help to help me get past this.
Yeah. This contradiction, this moment of conflict within your life, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm having trouble to do the hook set.
Right.
And that next part of it. And so that's why I've come to you guys, because I really do want to have fish in my diet. I want to be the one that catches the fish, so I know it's been looked after properly for food handling, as well as how it was caught and environmentally, can it sustain a harvest? But I was in California and, I couldn't take the rod.
Wow.
Can you imagine?
That's tough.
Yeah.
That's
tough.
I can't imagine, but that is tough. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
The conflict there is unbelievable, isn't
So
it?
you're worried more about the collateral damage of other fish. Like if you're going to keep one to eat, if you're fishing for a fish and that one you want to keep, maybe there's something else that you catch beforehand or after. That's the ones you're worried about more than anything, like hurting those fish. Is that part of your
I think
thought
she's
pattern?
worried about that fish that she's going to eat.
Well, you can't be worried about that, because also you should be worried then about the invasive species that you're catching to kill and all that stuff too, right? I mean, it's a different thought, but you're going to kill that fish anyways to eat. So,
Boy, it sounds
So
like
that's a good question. So that's a big question. It's a crisis of heart.
right.
All right. So I see a fish as though it's a puppy or a kitten. Most people don't. They don't see the face. They don't see the
Hang on for 1 second before I forget. How's your chicken?
Yeah.
How's your chicken, that crazy chicken that used to chase you around last time we spoke?
Oh my goodness.
Huh?
Thank you for asking. So this chicken is now just not this chicken, because chickens are like tattoos. You can't just have one, apparently. I don't have any tattoos.
Right.
But I had, this chicken because the guys were feeding it in the park and it jumped the fence and then we had to get it in a coop. Well, then I went away to see the doctor because I have Lyme disease, and I went to California to get help with the Lyme disease. You know how this is. You've been bitten by ticks. You have traveled this journey, and you've helped people to stay safe by educating people about the dangers of this. But what happened when I was away, my husband, I said to him, now make sure that you put the eggs in the refrigerator when I'm gone. Well, I came back. I said, you put the eggs in the refrigerator, right? He said, no, I just shook them. And I said, well, honey,
Shook them.
You know, this is not scrambled eggs. You know how the birds and the bees, you know all about that. So we ended up with 2 little chickens.
Oh, no.
They were beautiful. Yeah. So we had this white hen called Snowball, and she had little black babies that we called Thelma and Louise.
Oh my God.
And then Louise crowed. And so we called them Thelma and Luigi.
Yeah.
But then Thelma crowed.
Oh no!
So then we
Theodore.
called them Captain Kirk and Spock.
Oh
But
no!
I now have 3 roosters
God.
Wow.
and 6 hens. And
Only
of course,
you.
I'm out of town right now, and it is the spring.
Uh-oh.
And I hope Lou has put the eggs in the refrigerator, but
Who knows? Only
What's the
Catherine,
name
only-
of the original, the crazy one? What was the original's name, or is the original's
well,
name?
so now we have Captain Kirk, Spock, Rooster the Rooster, Snowball, Black Bass,
Wow.
Penelope, and Braveheart.
Oh, wow, very creative.
Yes.
Creative.
And my husband, just so you guys know, he's my fishing buddy.
Yes.
And he is like you guys. Like, he loves to catch fish. He loves to fish, but he needs to catch fish.
Right.
I'm the type of angler that it's about who I'm spending the day with. It's about everything around me, the majesty of the place, meeting the people, finding out, like what's happening with the area.
The experience. You're there for the experience, right?
Now, and I love to catch the fish.
Yeah.
I'll get right in the water with them. You know that. You've seen me with these big fish, and I'm right in the water because I don't want to take them out of the water. Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if you had a choice, Catherine, if it was possible that you had a choice, you could either be a fish catching machine,
Which
right?
I am.
Which
Thank you very much.
Which you are, but you could continue along those lines, okay, being a fish catching machine. But there is no, pardon this, there's no foreplay. It's just the catch, okay?
Yes.
Or that same wand waving individual that can make your wishes come true says, you know what, Catherine, you're never going to catch a fish again. You're never going to experience that tug, that whatever it is, that rush that you get.
Yes.
But you're going to be totally immersed in those wonderful outdoor adventures that you love as well. Which one would you choose?
Well, the good news is that you don't have to choose.
I thought you were going to say there's no such thing as fairies.
Yeah. So
which one?
I don't have to choose because part of the beautiful thing for me is laying out line, to hear the line whipping in the wind, right? You're out there, you see the sun, it's backlit, the line is twinkling.
The water sprays off the line when it hits the end of its trajectory. I got you.
And the water looks like diamonds.
Yes.
And you see the fish rising, and you're watching the birds around, and you're hearing all of that, and you're breathing in the forest green, and like, my God, right? and then you get to be face to face with an alien, these sentient beings. So now here's the problem. No one is asking the fish how they feel about the experience. And as I'm getting older, I know enough to know that I don't know. I really know very little at this stage in my life, which is why I'm a better listener. And I really care about other people's points of view and other fish's points of view. I think it's reasonable to go out and catch a fish for sustenance. I wonder if we need to be more thoughtful in our approach. We don't need to rip every lip. We can kiss the fish. That's where I am at my age and stage in life.
When you were starting this, or when you were younger, when you started, Catherine's a fly angler, by the way. Pardon? What's that?
I'm just teasing.
I didn't hear what
you
she
said
said.
when I was younger.
No.
Yeah.
Years back, when you were angling for your TV show and all that, did you have any of these thoughts, or was it set, I got to get that fish, I'm going to catch that fish, set that hook, I'm going to bring it in, and I'm going to show the camera, or I'm going to, for myself, having fun and all that stuff? Was that you before?
It was never about showing the camera. It was always about, I want to go to India and be with a golden mahasir in a place with a culture that I'm learning about, with people that love and are ambassadors for their area. That's what it was. And as a matter of fact, I tried, and I have been trying to hunt down some of my fishing buddies like you guys. That's how, I sent out a little note to Angelo and said, listen, we got to catch up, man. We got stuff. We got to catch up. I got to tell you, I'm hungry. I need your advice on what I can eat, like what's safe to eat now, because I used to eat the sardines at the top of the water, right? Because they were the small fish. Everyone said they don't have the heavy metals and all that stuff. Don't eat the big tuna, eat the little guys. Right. But now we know, because I've cooked them, they have microplastics in them. I go to the grocery store and get a bunch of these, bring them home for, cook them up in the pan for breakfast. And I'm finding little beads, little microplastics. And so I did some research, and then I started trying to eat. Okay, well, I'll eat stuff that's down on the bottom, not up at the top. Well, then I find out that we've got a lot of problem with heavy metals with those. And so then I thought, okay, now I'm like Goldilocks. This bed's too big. This bed's too small. This bed's just right. I think the fish in the middle, like the salmon and the trout and the stuff that's swimming in the middle of the water column, not too big, not too small, I think that's where I need to be.
I think you need to be, I need to hook you up with our principal
No pun
photographer.
intended.
No, I need to hook you up with our principal photographer, Vova,
Please.
because he has figured out a way around this conundrum. He just doesn't need any of that anymore. So he's gone the extreme other way, right?
Okay.
So that there's problem solved.
Well, I'm extreme, and I've tried all kinds of different ways to be able to be comfortable with the fact that people harvest living things for sustenance.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So I don't just struggle with the harvesting of fish. I struggle with factory farming practices. So I like to know the person who is looking after the animals that are sustenance for us. I like to know what they're eating, how they're being treated. I like to know all that because it matters, right? I think it matters.
For sure. And I think you're not the only person feeling this way.
No.
It's a movement, certainly in this country, that people are starting to get a little more curious about where their food comes from and how it's raised and how it's harvested and what's in it and what it ate and all that stuff. The things that you're saying, I think the majority of maybe listeners of this program have gone through this and are living it now. Is it realistic? Maybe not. Maybe not. Is it realistic? But we can certainly work towards it.
I got a point on, I'd like to say Catherine is looking for this mid-layer of fish to eat now. You got to remember that every fish in the lake is eating something else, which is eating something else, which could be on the surface, it could be on the bottom, it could be anywhere in between. So these fish are getting their life sustained by the heavy metals maybe and all that. So, I mean, is there a winning layer here? Maybe not. So, you know what I mean?
That's why we really need to care about the environment and try to remediate our waters. And
agreed.
Yes, I think we're all realizing this, that the days of our kids, I don't have kids, but everyone's kids are my kids, going into the grocery stores and not being able to identify what an eggplant is or what we're so removed from our food. And I feel at this point in my life that I don't want to make some farmer do the dirty work all the time, or some angler on a deep sea, trawler who's basically being treated like a modern day slave to bring me food. I want to be the person that is going out and bringing back the protein for my family, and at my own hand, that I'm honoring this animal for sacrificing its life so that I can have this sustenance. I have a health issue where I can't metabolize polyphenols. So that's your colorful fruits and vegetables and your red wine and that sort of thing. So being a vegetarian is not a choice for me. And I supplement with molybdenum, and it helps me. So I can eat these things in moderation. But I need to eat protein from a living thing. I'm having trouble. It's a struggle.
Now you're still living in Bermuda?
I do live in Bermuda, and everything is shipped in, but I have a garden. Right. I grow as much as I can. I have my chickens and my eggs, and I'm a chicken tender. That's what they call someone who looks after chickens. My chickens come when they're called. I love them. Oh my goodness, you guys. I know I'm a city girl, but I got a bit of country in me.
Yeah.
I love my birds.
I got to interrupt you. Would an individual of those chickens, hey, black bass, get over here. Will the black bass come over like a dog would? Or do they all come over to you?
Well, they'll all come over because they want what I'm about to give black bass.
Exactly.
So I do give sardines to my chickens.
Okay. Whoa.
Yes.
Okay. Interesting.
Chickens.
I feed them. Oh, yes. Anyway, I love my birds. But what did you have for breakfast, guys? What did you guys eat for breakfast this morning? I just want to know what kind of food you're eating. How are you? What are you doing for sustenance?
I do an intermittent fast, so I will eat later today.
Smart.
And my first meal I made a fruit and vegetable smoothie. That's what my first meal will be today. So.
Well, that's how you're staying so svelte. Good for you.
Mine is similar. I don't eat breakfast. Never have. Just unless we're on the road, and then everybody wants to have breakfast and also. But normally, no breakfast. But I may or may not have an egg, something or other, for just something midday, and then I'll have a meal. But I've been on a pretty strict diet the last several months, so I'm probably not a good example to ask.
No, you're probably a great example.
Well, maybe
you're on a good diet. You're finally.
I'm interested. So, what is this strict diet? What is it you're eating?
Well, I'm eating meat, fish, a lot of fish, zero wheat. I've cut wheat out of my diet completely. Yeah. Salt has been cut out several years ago, but I'm still am on that. No salt, no sugar, zero sugar, and a lot of along with I'm eating really well. Along with my meat and fish, I eat a ton of veggies, like a ton of veggies. I overdose on veggies every day, so that's my diet. But no garbage, zero garbage.
When I grow up, I want to be just like you, because that's what we're all striving to do. I'm not that disciplined, apparently, but I think we're all like-minded. Like I didn't have breakfast this morning. I need to give up the caffeine. I'm
why though? Why do you need to give up caffeine?
Polyphenols. I have a problem with polyphenols.
Okay. That makes sense.
And that's
but it's my last vice.
Yeah, so hang on to that one.
Well, it's not my last vice.
I'm gonna pull out a beer here now.
I have a little bouteille here because I want to celebrate Angelo's well-deserved and well-earned award, the King's Coronation Medal.
Thank you.
Hello. So I have some friends that are going to join us in toasting you. I have the Champers.
Wow, look at you.
And we have 3 glasses for your studio.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Oh.
We do. We have 3 glasses for your studio. And I have 3 glasses here.
You are a beauty.
For our studio.
Only Kathryn.
Only Kathryn. So, I would break my fast for a drink of champagne right now. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
So people are going to join me. I have Sean, my camera her man.
All right. Hey,
A
Sean.
long time friend from Ontario, guys.
Nice.
Nice.
So we have Sabrina, because I have a new family here.
Hey, Sabrina.
Hi, guys.
Sean,
You
Sabrina.
guys, we're announcing live on your show that I have a new family at VPC, here in Baltimore. Can everybody see here? I'm going to pop down.
I've got everybody in the
We
screen.
got it. We can see everybody.
Okay, you got everybody?
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go. What's this breaking news?
What are we announcing?
So, this is very exciting. So Sean was in early retirement because his retina detached. I was, not well enough because with the house exploding, the gas explosion, the traumatic brain injury, the Lyme disease, the balance issue, I couldn't be on boats and that sort of thing. So they put a plate in my neck. I need 2 more plates. But we went fishing for the first time in California looking for food 2 days ago. And
Whereabouts are you in California?
now I was in California. I was in San Francisco. Now I'm in Baltimore.
Okay.
Because when I realized that I was going to be able to go fishing again, I know there are other people out there like me that are struggling with what to eat. And people who fished along with me want to know how I'm working through this crisis of conscience, really. And so these guys here are my family, like your family there.
Nice.
They're going to help bring these journeys back to everyone. So What a Catch is coming back on the air.
Yay!
Nice.
That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Congratulations.
Yes. So
Good
I just,
stuff.
by way of introduction, here we are.
Wow.
Your family, our family. And Sabrina has 3 boys, and I have no right to ask anything of you guys,
Okay.
but I have an ask.
Yes.
They want to catch a, sorry, Sabrina, what is it again? A snakehead.
Whoa.
Yes. And they've been trying everything, and they watch you guys. And I said, well, you know what? These guys are some friends of mine, and maybe we could all go fishing together. So I'm wondering
Yes.
if we fly to Canada, if we can try to catch a snakehead, you guys can maybe show her boys how it's done, and maybe they could catch their first snakehead. Can we do this?
Well, I will tell you this. If that were to happen, if it were possible, if all the stars and the planets align, it would
Yes.
also be our first snakehead too.
Yeah, we don't have very many
Oh,
here at
my
all. We would go
goodness.
if we went to
We don't-
Florida,
Yep.
a meeting area in Florida, we'd
We could
catch
do it.
snakehead.
We
for
don't
sure.
have
All right, then this is what we need to do. I will bring you guys here where we have snakeheads.
Oh, you do have there.
We have snakeheads.
Okay.
So you are formally invited as
Nice.
our guests
Oh my
Nice.
goodness.
to come here and catch snakeheads. Let's
Wow.
get snaky.
Wow. and
right.
apparently they're very good eating too.
Yes.
A very good eating fish, by the way.
Yes.
So
Very
Well,
good.
I saw your podcast asking which tastes better,
Right.
a walleye or a snakehead.
right.
And we love this. So let's get this happening. But in the meantime, who's popping the champagne?
Exactly. Let's pop
Okay.
this baby.
Yeah.
There it goes.
Well done.
Oh, congratulations, Catherine. Coming
Yeah, great
back.
news.
Fantastic.
Well-
Great news.
Fantastic. Way overdue.
We're toasting to your legacy, 40
Thank you.
years.
Yes. Yes.
40 years.
Years.
I mean, this is a really big deal. So
Yeah,
Thank you.
congratulations.
Thank you.
It still hasn't settled in yet with
No.
us. Eh? We
No.
just finished the Toronto Sportsman Show, and obviously, thank goodness, we have people who love us and want to talk to us and stuff. And we spent 4 days totally immersed in conversation with them about the 40-year anniversary, and it's still, even
Yeah.
after all that,
Yeah.
it still hasn't completely kicked in yet that
Thank you.
we've done this for 4 decades. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, where does the time go?
No
You know?
kidding. No kidding. Okay.
So
here-
these are the 3 for your studio.
Thank you.
Where's yours? Hold on a second here.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
I want to see Catherine drink all 3 of those at the
That's
same
what I'm
time.
waiting for.
Okay, I'll do this one here. I'll take this one. Okay, you got that one.
There, the bottle's
Okay.
for us. That's it.
So what's really funny is, I have this brain injury, so apparently I can't count to 6. So cheers, to
Cheers.
Angelo. Congratulations.
Thank you very
Cheers.
much. Thank
Tight
you.
lines.
Thank
and
you.
Many more years, and you're a wonderful ambassador and example of all that's good and inclusive in the sport and environmental, supporting environmental causes.
Thank you.
And you're a great friend to all anglers. And God bless you, and thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
Here.
Cheers.
Nice.
Oh, man. Now I feel like I should crack open a beer and a cigar or something.
I was just going to
Oh,
say,
now you're talking,
as a fellow
brother.
Canadian, we should be having the beers, what?
Oh,
Yeah. What?
What's
Yeah.
is your cameraman? Is it Sean? Is that what his name was?
Sean. Yeah, we'll put a headset
I want-
on Sean, and we can have a little gift for Gab.
I
can
yeah.
take our baby. Yeah, look at this. Yeah.
I just have
Thank
one quick
you.
question for Sean. It won't take long.
And Sabrina can join us too.
Absolutely.
Because,
Absolutely.
Sabrina is just my sister. And we just love, we were restauranting as we do, because now we have an excuse. And she was eating mussels.
Oh,
and
I
I
love
said,
mussels.
girl, I love mussels too, but do you know where they came from?
Uh-oh,
And do
here we
you know
go.
do you know if they're wild or farmed? And so we have these conversations. Can you see her, this beautiful
There
girl?
she is.
Yeah,
There she
I'm
is.
going to back up here.
you go.
Let's pull in. Okay. There we go. So
Yeah,
anyway,
mussels-
we have
mussels-
so many things to talk about.
Mussels are a slippery slope, no pun intended, okay? Because
Yeah.
even in the wild, if you
Yeah.
listen to the science and listen to the experts, boy, and I love mussels. I love any of that. I love all that stuff. But it's basically filtering out all the things you talked about from whether its environment is the ocean, a lake, whatever the case may be, or if it's harvested and cultivated by man, it's still a filter. It is a filter.
Yeah.
Think of it as a filter, whether it's a filter for your vacuum cleaner, a filter for your sink, it's a filter. And we love that. I mean, I could eat dozens of
Yeah, you're
oysters.
a freak with that, right?
Oysters,
Yeah.
for example.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
They make you feel good because it has selenium in
Oh.
it, and we need and it's a celebration. You go, it's easily to harvest them. You boil the pot on
Oh, my God.
on the shore, and it's such a great time. Put a little red wine in there, whatever. But you're right. I mean, we need to know where the food is coming. But Sean, here's Sean.
Yeah,
here.
I want to just ask
Yeah.
Sean. Sean, being a cameraman, I understand this fly fishing is a beautiful sport, especially photography. But when Catherine starts doing this hookless fishing, what the hell are you going to shoot, buddy? What's going to be the end result here? Come on.
It's usually the beautiful scenery and her
Exactly.
in it, and
Yes.
the way she casts. There's lots there.
Is there going to be a climax? Is there going to be something that we can say, like in our normal, Catherine's old fishing show, when she held that beautiful golden Dorado up and stuff like that? Is it what would you do now as a camera operator, as an editor? How is that going to work out?
Well, we'll see what happens. I'm
Okay.
sure it's going to work out well, because with Catherine casting and fishing, it's going to look good.
It's gonna be great.
Absolutely.
It's gonna be a huge hit.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you. I appreciate you.
I'm excited.
Also, how can there not be a climax with you? I mean, you're such a fun person.
Yep.
Thank you.
I
So
agree.
I think anything you do, people are going to want to watch.
You know what,
And
Catherine,
how
guys?
you do
the
it.
show, for
You know
sure.
what, guys? Think of it this way. We have been intrigued for eons watching these wonderful, tremendous documentaries, where you've got an adventure unfolding in front of you on the screen, and the host is just experiencing it for you, and there's no fishing involved. This guy just woman walks through the jungle and then peeks over the mountain at the gorillas, and we love that stuff. So
Well,
I don't think there's anything different with that, right?
Well, I can give you an example. If you're able to pass me my neck brace. So, as an example of what Sean was filming when we were in California. So this is my neck brace that I wear.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm waiting for my neck muscles to grow back, but I took this off my neck brace, and we were catching halibut for the halibut because, of course, I'm explaining that I didn't take the rod. Sean caught a fish, and I said to him, now you're always with me. We always put the fish back, but now we're fishing for food, and you and your family can enjoy when we find, by talking to my fishing buddies, where we should be fishing, what body of water is healthy for and can sustain a harvest, that the fish are healthy, the environment's healthy, and we can do what we want to be doing to bring food home for our families. So Sean whaled into a halibut, and but I took this to cover the halibut's eyes, so when we took the priest to dispatch the fish didn't see it. So
just turn them upside down.
This is, you see right there, that's fish boogers.
Oh,
nice. Nice halibut boogers. Nice.
Fish boogers.
So
There really are boogers on
There's
there.
fish boogers on here, yeah.
So let me understand.
You might want to
this.
clean that too, by the way, just before you put it back on.
This new
Yeah,
show.
I just turned it over. Pete. Like, you and I are like, whatever, man.
Yeah,
like,
just where. So
Yeah.
this new show will have a climax, as you guys called it, because you, in fact, will be catching sustenance
yes.
at the end of the episode. Okay, so
Well, but it's still undetermined whether I can take the rod and follow through. That's why,
That'd be
quite
interesting.
honestly, I'm asking for your help.
Yeah, that'd
I
be
need some help.
You are the
I
master.
need
You're the
some
teacher.
Angelo therapy to because
you sound like my
the
brother.
hook set.
Oh my God! I've had that for 40 years. I did get out of it. Don't do it.
I don't have any problem with putting the line out and
Right.
finding the fish and doing all that, but it's the hook set and feeling the fish's struggle. Like, I was talking to a fishing buddy of mine last night, and he was talking about how he played this Atlantic salmon. He's over in Europe for an hour, and I was like, dude, that's not cool. Like, that's lactic acid. I know you release the fish, but that fish is fighting for its life. It doesn't know you're going to release it, and it's building lactic acid. It's not going to do well. And so, first of all, you need to go to the gym, because like, you're playing this fish for an hour. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Like, go do some push-ups, right?
Yeah,
Eat
no
some
kidding.
protein.
No kidding.
But so we did that, we got this halibut thing, but I'm also trying to find people that are my fishing buddies and surprise them. So we showed up, just a quick story, not a quick story for me, I'm sorry. But Sean and I fished in India, as I was telling you, for the golden mahasir. And when I organized the trip, I was talking to a friend, Misty, who I had never met in person. And I was really excited to go, but everyone knows that I'm afraid of the dark. So we're sleeping rough in the Himalayas. Their dogs that come with us had spikes on their collars in case these big animals come out of the woods. And the dog only attacked the chicken that was carried in. That was supposed to be our dinner. Sean wouldn't eat it after that. But anyway, long story short, we get to the camp, which was a major deal. You can only imagine. And this person comes up to me and extends their hand and says, "Hi, I'm Misty Dillon." And my eyes got huge, because I thought all this time that I was talking to Misty, that Misty was a woman. And I had asked Misty to share a tent with me because I'm afraid of the dark.
Uh-oh.
And so then when I realized that Misty Dillon is actually a dude, I was like, oh, you must have thought that very forward of me, because I'm very conservative, right? And a married woman.
Hello, Catherine. I'm Misty.
I said, I'm Misty Dillon.
How you doing there, baby?
So that was really embarrassing. That was the start to our trip, but we had a phenomenal time.
Wow.
Caught mahasir. And I could tell you all about that and what they do with the fish and all this.
What is a mahasir?
A golden mahasir. It looks like it looks like a bonefish or a tarpon, except it looks like a tarpon, except it's gold, like a gold bar instead of silver. You know how the tarpon have a round and they're silver. The mahasir are gold, like some president's Oval Office gold in color, right?
Really?
And and they're gentle and they're amazing. And what they believe in India when they catch a fish is that the fish will tell other fish, so they take it off to the side and don't let it go back to the pool to be with the other ones.
We say that all. We're the same. We have the same opinion. We do that all the time. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all.
I thought that was interesting.
No.
But the whole point of this story is that Sean and I showed up at Misty Dillon's travel company. So Sean had the camera and we were trying to do this, drop in. Cool. And we go to the door and there's a sign saying appointment only. And we're like, what do we do now? So there was another door and we opened it and it was the turlet. It was the John. and that was shocking because I thought it was just another way into the office, his travel business. And there next to the turlet were all these fishing books, hardcover books, his favorite books. And so I imagine him sitting on the throne with this book that is like the 50 top fishing women of whatever. And, his Bible, like all these people that he admires and wants to fish with. But it was pretty interesting because I said to Sean, I don't have any rubber gloves or anything, but I really want to see which pages are earmarked, who his favorite.
Were you in the book? Were you in the book?
I wasn't in the book, so I guess because he had fished with me, I'm not earmarked. He can just go look at our photos. Exactly. But I did send you some pictures of the throne and anyway, and the books. But we missed him. But so don't be surprised if you hear a knock on your door and Sean and I are standing there and we say, okay, pack your bag. Come on, we're going. We're going to go fishing.
Let's go.
I'm really looking forward to catching some snakeheads with you guys. Perfect. I won't be behind the reel unless it's an invasive species, which it is in Baltimore, and we can eat it, which it is in Baltimore. Yep. And this beautiful angel is from this part of the world. Nice. And she is welcoming us into her world, and we get to meet her boys. Last time we were together, she was telling me how her son, what's your oldest son's name?
Murphy.
Murphy is learning how to lasso and ride. So he set up a sawhorse. And he's lassoing, and she showed me. We should send them the picture of that.
We certainly can. Yeah, I mean, he built his own wooden horse, and he's out back just lassoing horses. And if he's not lassoing horses, then him and my middle son are out there just casting rods just for fun. Our neighbors think we're nuts, but
a little up.
We're a good time.
Especially, correct me if I'm wrong, but especially cowboying isn't exactly the thing to do in Baltimore. It's not like you're Montana. It's
I was going to ask the same thing.
You know what I mean?
Not cowboy
so that's even weirder.
I know he's in ninth grade and
casting accuracy.
Cowboy boots to school, and he's totally into it. He's mucking stalls at a farm, and so that's where he got hooked on that.
Nice.
I know what he's doing. He's all the girls like the cowboys, and he's the only cowboy in town. Wow. He's going to do really good, that boy. Yeah.
There is that.
Smoking gun.
So when is this debut? When are we looking for?
Well, we're happening now. We're putting teasers up all the time. Whatacatch.net. We have a YouTube channel, nice. And then as soon as we can sort ourselves out, you know what it's like. It's trying to redigitize footage and. All of my show tapes and drives made the trip across the ocean. So we're at the stage of testing the drives to make sure that they didn't get damaged. And if they did, we have to re-ingest tape stock because we're those dinosaurs, using tape stock, which no one uses anymore.
Mm-hmm. Is that a beta cam I saw Sean holding there a minute ago?
Want to grab the... Yeah.
Is that a beta cam?
HD cam.
So we were the first fishing show to do outdoor sporting show to shoot HD in the U.S. or Canada.
Yes.
And this is our camera
from that period.
Yeah.
Well, good news for you, Sean. You don't have to lug that baby around anymore. I'll tell you that right now.
Because this shoots the footage, because I have a film and photography background.
Yes.
So the quality of what we're shooting is so important. And this camera shoots that it visually, it's butter. It's gorgeous.
Sean?
The lenses are gorgeous. They're real glass lenses. I know it's heavy.
Sean, let me interject here. Let me interject with all due respect to Catherine. I think you can get a lighter camera that will do everything that big, heavy vault that you just had on your shoulder will do today.
Yeah, they do have later cameras, but this one's like an old friend.
Okay, that's fine. Hey,
if you want travels together,
if you want to haul that baby around, that's great. I'm
Good
just
on
saying,
you, brother.
I'm saying you could, and that's what I was thinking as you were telling me you were making a comeback. I was thinking, wow, because we talk about it all the time. As you know, we shot the Outdoor Journal television show for 9 seasons, and we were using 2 of those big babies to go into the Borneo jungle and you name it, all over the world. And now I often think, even at our age today, with the equipment and techniques and technology today, we could probably do that whole series all over again and be an eighth of the weight going in and out and size.
Without a doubt.
So the technology has really changed, man.
The technology has changed, but for this footage to match up with my existing library, it's really important.
Okay.
I mean, we're not National Geographic, but we really care about the process.
Yes.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
And that's what you were known for. I mean, aside from this wonderful activity, fly fishing, you're known for your cinematography of the product,
God bless
right?
You.
And so, to continue along those lines, that's fantastic. Good for you.
What you're going to see with the help from VPC is how things were. So we go back to the Gaspé and we have the footage of the Atlantic salmon stacked like cordwood in the pools. Mm-hmm. And then we go back now and you see 60 fish and that you can't even fish there. Do you know that we couldn't fish for salmon in the Bay of San Francisco again this year? I couldn't have imagined in my lifetime that there'd be a ban on salmon fishing in the Bay.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
It is. It's unbelievable. I'll tell you one of the things they're doing, and we're going to talk more about this. I mean, it's not all doom and gloom. There's great conservation work happening, but mistakes are being made because there's a water crisis. We know there's a water crisis. They are taking the water from the bay to irrigate the fields, but they're sucking up all the fish eggs and all the food for the fish along with it.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Water pumps go in the bottom of the lake usually. A big hose lays on the bottom of the lake and it sucks in everything. Yeah.
Ocean be the same, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And I just want to get this off my mind because there's so much that we'll talk about from your podcast when we're fishing together. For example, Pete was saying to you, there's lots of good. You were saying to Pete that there's lots of good testing for meat and everything. And he was saying, well, I'm not sure how much of it really gets tested and that sort of thing. And I just wanted to add that you're both right because they're putting sludge on the farmers' fields, and the cows and things are eating in the fields, and they're getting forever chemicals. And the farmers in the U.S., it's not mandatory testing. So if they know that those chemicals are there, and if they don't test their animals, then it is in the milk supply, along with bird flu, by the way. Wow. That's why it's great. You know, I drink milk in my coffee. I actually heat it on the stove first because that helps get rid of the bacteria. Doesn't help with the forever chemicals. But I think we really need to ask questions. We're allowed to ask questions and know the farmer and know what's happening with our food. It's still happening today that people do the poke and sniff test. Do you know what this is?
No.
Never heard of it.
The meat guys go into where they're killing the animals, their government regulators to keep an eye on things. And what they were doing for years, and even now, is they take a finger with a glove and they poke and sniff. And if it smells okay, it's a pass. If it's not, then it's a fail.
Really?
So now people are saying, yes. So now people are saying, look, you know, a lot of the things that are causing us problems are much smaller. And so now they're actually sampling, but they're not sampling every single piece. And E. coli at all these different stages is getting reintroduced. And chicken especially is quite tricky. We all know this. I mean, I'm not saying anything that's not well known. But I was in Baltimore a year ago, got terrific food poisoning, and ended up in the hospital. And that's another story to share at the campfire, which I'll share with you guys. But I'm asking you and begging you all to pay very close attention to where your food is coming from. And
I wanted to ask you a question about that, because, you know, there's also sustainability, right? We have to be realistic. I mean, listen, the perfect scenario would be that you find a farmer near where you live, and that farmer will supply your neighborhood with food, and forever we all live happily ever after, right? I don't know whether that's realistic nor whether it's sustainable. I think more importantly than what you just said, we just need to find a better way to feed ourselves, right? We need to figure this out. We have to evolve.
May I suggest it's not mutually exclusive? And we started off this conversation earlier about, you know, if you had to choose between going out fishing or going out catching, which is you don't need to choose. We know now we're putting green spaces on the roofs of building. Right. We know that there are areas that don't have food availability, but we're trying to remedy this with rooftop gardens, with supporting local, and yes, you can grow a lot on a small patio. Container gardening and vertical gardening and hydroponics, and there's so much that is possible now. Where we run into trouble.
Dean does that. Our Dean is doing that in his apartment.
Come on now. I love that. Congratulations to you for doing that. And he'll teach other people.
That's right.
I think that we have a crisis of time and money. Mm-hmm. So people who would like to be growing their own things, they're too busy and it's just difficult. So we need to share. So when people, we need to barter, we need to share. So if someone is growing something and they can share and trade for a haircut with someone else who's a hairdresser. Right. There are ways, and as we know better, we'll do better.
Good for you. You're always, that's just it. I mean, you're so much more
far
than
ahead
a
of
fishing
us.
person, right? Well, so far ahead of
So
you.
much more. I'm
a chicken tender.
I'm a chicken mama.
Hey, Chicken Mama, speaking of our podcast, have you watched the ones about the mislabeling of fish? There's some interesting stuff in there for you. So there's something to watch.
I broke news on that for the Huffington Post 20 years ago about mislabeled seafood in Toronto. I'd go into a restaurant and I would order halibut or haddock or cod, and because I like cold water ocean fish, and it would come and it would be I could tell that it was a garbage fish, and it wasn't what I paid for. And I would say to the server, if I came in here and ordered filet mignon and you gave me a hot dog, I would be up at arms because the hot dog is $3.99 and the filet is, $99. And everyone would understand why. And yet we go into a restaurant today, and it may not be the restaurant's fault. It could be the supplier, the fishmonger, or whatever it is. And they're sliding this stuff. It's coming through our food distribution routes as well, where people are eating horse instead of beef. This is happening. But someone like me and you and these people here that are aware of these things, they know and can taste the difference and see the difference. But you're paying a big bill and you're not even getting what it is you think you're getting. And the problem with that is we all know that river and lake fishes are way more wormy and full of parasites than some of these other things that you pick to eat. And if you're immune compromised like I am, I need to hedge my bets, and I want to be eating what I'm told I'm eating and paying for. So I'm so glad that you guys are spreading the word.
For sure.
And that's why your podcast is invaluable. The lives that you're changing, you're really doing a great service for people all over. It's a legacy, an enduring legacy. So congratulations. Yeah.
It's like the cable guy, Ange. I'm paying for the shit and I ain't getting it.
Exactly.
That's the problem there.
Exactly.
The original cable guy, he was the best.
And we would be shocked, I think we've just scraped the tip of the iceberg on this whole mislabeling thing. I think we would be shocked if we dug even deeper than,
God,
and not just in fish, meat, poultry. I mean everything, but even man-made sustenance. I think in a lot of cases we're not getting what we think we're getting. So don't get me started on that, guys. For two things. First of all, I can't thank you enough for the accolades and. Little party, and look at that, she's got the hat and the whole bit to go with it. I love this.
I love that hat.
That's the best.
Thank you for that. We'll get together with the group here and discuss the possibilities of coming down and spending a couple of days with you folks down there, because I think that'd be so cool, and we could probably do the podcast from there on that trip. So that would be wonderful for us.
Absolutely.
I'm also going to let you know that if you, just because we don't reach out to you, which we should, and you don't schedule a call or a message to us on a regular basis, if you ever need anything and you think that possibly the answer might be here north of the 49th, reach out to us. Just reach out to us. We may not be able to give you what you're looking for, but we certainly know enough people that can, right?
I'm just looking for a hug from my good friends.
I would give you one of those.
I'm coming for a hug.
Okay, done.
You got it.
Done
Thank
deal.
you, guys.
And guys, congratulations. I think
Thank
this
you.
is exciting news. The audience is still vibrating from when you announced it. I think it's going to be fantastic. I, for one, am going to be your number one fan. I'm looking forward to it. Let's make it happen.
Is it What a Catch on YouTube as well? Is that what they have to just type in What a Catch?
Yeah, What a Catch Pro. PROD production, What a Catch Productions on YouTube.
Perfect. Wow.
And but you guys have always cheerleaded and supported us, and I'm so grateful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you as well.
All the best, folks. We'll talk to you very soon. All right. You take care.
Finish that champagne.
Wow.
That's good.
Great news.
Yeah, she's back.
She's
back.
That is great news.
Yeah, that's cool, eh?
What a wonderful show. We used to talk about it all the time. It was the one show that you watch. And
you watched for the cinematography, the whole, it was the whole 9 yards. It wasn't about just the What a Catch.
It didn't hurt that Kathryn was the host of the show.
Yeah, of course.
Let's be honest about it, because she was so, first of all, stunning, because you don't associate some of the environments that she shot in, you don't associate that with what seemingly was a pretty frail young lady, right? I mean, we know because we worked in those environments. We know how difficult and how tough it is to work in those environments.
Can't imagine in India, fishing down in those rivers in India, living that, where they were in those tents and that. Woo.
So that's what
made Buddy. What was Buddy's name? That was supposed to be a woman that she thought was a woman. Anybody remember? Do you know?
Misty.
Misty.
Was it Misty?
Misty, yeah,
that's what it was, Misty. Hi there, Catherine.
But that's what made the program. And then couple that with the fact that it was absolutely outstanding cinematography.
Yeah, very well produced.
Way ahead of its time.
Yep.
Back when we were doing what we did, doing fishing shows.
Very documentary style, right? Like National Geo style.
Let's not forget that it's Canadian, right? Its origins
Where was
are
she
all
from?
Canadian.
I forgot to ask her. Do you know where she's Toronto? Was she?
Just on the other side of Toronto somewhere.
Oh, yeah?
Oakville or Brampton or one of those.
Cool.
And her and her husband went around the world, self-financed, which was another big thing because one thing that I remember about that show, there was no commercialism in it. There was it was all pure.
Yeah, and you
clean.
say, how the hell do they afford to do that? And that's why they're self-financed.
Daddy had a ton of dough.
Oh, you figured?
Well, yeah. I mean, hey, listen, a great way to make a small fortune in the fishing industry.
To spend a large fortune?
You have to have a large fortune to start it, and they're no different than anybody else. So, anyways, that's wonderful news. Great to see that she's in good health.
Wow, she sounds
reasonably
great.
good health.
Oh my God, compared to before, she sounds fantastic.
Yeah. And I didn't purposely, jump into the illness and the Lyme disease and now heavy metal. Like I didn't want to get into that because it was such an uplifting. Show without all that.
Yeah,
I mean, we could
absolutely.
spend a whole episode just talking about her.
Do you think Catherine could hold a whole show together? She likes to talk. She's a good talker. She's a very good speaker, that's for sure.
Anyways, that are it, folks. I want to remind everybody to get on those contests. Get on there regularly.
Woo! Come on
all
now.
free of charge. Keep an eye out for it. It's all happening on fishingcanada.com. Don't know what's up there right now, but I'll guarantee you there's 2 or 3 prizes that you would absolutely love to have in your hands.
I know we just pulled a winner for a Garmin unit. So
we did that
yesterday. Yesterday, yeah. So.
And when this comes out, we have a Mercury motor still up there. And we have a bonus code for you.
Where did
in front of Angelo?
Just out of curiosity, I'm going to read them out. Just out of curiosity, where did the Garmin unit go this time in terms of geography?
So, go ahead, Dean.
I need a release, so I can't give any names, but I do know he's from Edmonton.
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah, that's what I said. As soon as it was drawn, I said, "That's awesome."
Fantastic.
We can spread the wealth.
And you too could win, folks. You don't have to sit back and say, "Oh, wow, I wish I had won that." Well, you can too, especially if you use this week's bonus code, which is streamer, streamer, streamer. Just type that in the bonus code section of the Fishing Canada contest, and you'll receive. Wait for it.
1, 2,
no,
3,
10. Come on now.
10 free bonus entries. All you have to do is go to fishingcanada.com contest section, and in the bonus code section, put in streamer. And for those of you who have not entered the contest yet, what in God's name are you waiting for? Head on over there now, fishingcanada.com. It's the gateway, the portal to your next fishing adventure. On behalf of the entire crew, Volvo over there, he was pretty excited when we started getting into the whole vegetarian thing.
You figure?
He thought we were going to bring him into the show, just like
Catherine did. If he had a bottle of booze, we would have brought him in. But
that's true.
Come on now.
Nick over there and Dean over there. I'm Angelo, and he is Peter. Thank you for joining us. Catch you next time. This episode of Outdoor Journal Radio has been brought to you in part by the Invasive Species Centre, protecting Canada's land and water from invasive species. Freedom Cruise Canada, rent the boat, own the memories. J&B Cycle & Marine, your home for all things power sports, boats, and equipment. and Sail, the ultimate destination for your outdoor adventures.